The world will tell you in 100 different ways that you are too broken to be great, that your past is too messy, your wounds too deep, your flaws too visible. It will point at your mistakes and use them as evidence of your limitations. It will use your worst moments against you, sometimes with your full and willing cooperation. But your past does not define you, not the mistakes, not the losses, not the moments where you behaved in ways you are not proud of, not the seasons where you barely survived. What defines you, the only thing that has ever truly defined you, is how you rise. Every single time life has knocked you down, every single time someone underestimated you, every single time you found yourself face down in the rubble of something that fell apart, you had a choice. And the fact that you are here right now, still listening, still present, still willing to hear something that might help, that tells me everything. You are a fighter. You are more powerful than anything that has ever tried to break you, and you have already survived things that should have finished you. That is who you are. Now, let's talk about letting go of the idea that you need to force any of this. Because here is where so many people get it wrong. When we've been hurt, genuinely, deeply, unfairly hurt, the temptation is to want justice delivered on our timeline. We want to see it. We want to watch the moment when the person who wronged us finally faces the music. We want the universe to hurry up. We want confirmation that the pain we endured meant something, that it wasn't ignored, that somebody, something noticed. But here is what you need to understand about the way balance works in this life. You don't need to force it. You don't need to engineer it. You don't need to waste a single breath of your precious, limited energy plotting ways to make someone else feel what they made you feel. That is not your work to do. Let karma work. Karma does not operate on human timing. It is not impulsive. It does not act in anger or haste. It does not make grand announcements or set dramatic scenes for your viewing satisfaction. It is quiet, methodical, and absolutely certain. It watches everything, every decision, every action, every moment of casual cruelty, every careless word, every deliberate betrayal. All of it is registered. All of it is in motion, and what people put into the world is already on its way back to them, whether they know it or not. Some will think they've escaped. They'll live comfortably in the belief that their actions had no consequences, that time has absolved them, that nobody important is keeping score. But karma does not forget, and its timing, whilst never matching our expectations, is always exactly right. There is absolutely no need for revenge. Let me say that clearly and without apology. No need to scheme, to plot, to waste the precious hours of your one life thinking about how to make someone else suffer. Revenge drags you into the very energy you are trying to escape. It binds you to the person who hurt you more firmly than forgiveness ever could. It keeps you looking backwards when everything worth having is ahead. You were never meant to become the pain that was given to you. You were never meant to mirror the darkness of someone else's behavior back at them. When you choose to release that, when you make the genuinely difficult, enormously mature decision to let karma handle what was never yours to carry you, free yourself, not them. You, the people who hurt others and felt nothing, who moved through life taking without giving, who left destruction in their wake without looking back. They do not realize what is already growing behind them. The seeds they planted in the lives of others are taking root. The heartbreak they caused is already finding its way back through unexpected channels. The trust they shattered is building an isolation around them that will one day feel impossible to escape. The love they dismissed so carelessly will one day be the very thing they search for desperately and cannot find. Karma is not dramatic. It is not theatrical. It does not announce itself with trumpets and headlines. It works in silence. It does not require witnesses. It does not need you watching to validate its process. It simply works, quietly, faithfully, and without exception. And you may never see it. That's the honest truth. You may never be in the room when the scales tip. You may never get a front row seat to the moment they finally understand what they did. Some people's reckoning happens entirely in private, behind the very same closed doors where they once felt untouchable. And that is completely fine, because your healing was never supposed to depend on their suffering. Your peace was never meant to be conditional on their pain. The moment you tie your recovery to their downfall, you hand them a power over your well-being that they have absolutely no right to hold. The greatest revenge, the only revenge worth having, is building a life so full, so genuine, so undeniably good that there is simply no room left in it for bitterness. It is rising so high above what was done to you that looking back feels not painful, but almost irrelevant. It is waking up one morning and realizing, with a quiet and profound certainty, that the person who once devastated you now occupies almost no space in your thoughts at all. Not because you forced it, not because you suppressed it, but because you have been so busy building, so busy growing, so busy becoming the fullest version of yourself that the past simply lost its grip. That is freedom. That is the real victory. Now, there will be people who doubted you. People who looked at you at your lowest and drew permanent conclusions. Who whispered about your struggles as though they were your destiny. Who decided, based on one chapter of your story, that they knew how the whole thing ended. They expected you to fail. They expected you to stay exactly where you were when they left you. And here is what you need to understand about success. Real success. Not just money or status or the kind of achievement you post on social media for validation, but the deep, sustained, authentic success that comes from building a life that is genuinely yours. It is the most powerful response you will ever give. Not words, not arguments, not confrontation, just the undeniable, visible, undeniable evidence of a person who refused to stay broken. The best revenge is not bitterness. The best revenge is transformation. It is becoming so completely focused, so completely dedicated to your own growth, that what others did to you begins to look less like a wound and more like a catalyst. Because the truth is, and this might be a difficult thing to sit with the people who hurt you, in doing so, revealed something to you. They showed you your own resilience. They showed you who was real and who was performance. They stripped away comfort that was keeping you still when you needed to be moving. They forced you into a strength you might never have found in easier circumstances. They thought they broke you, but they only built you. They thought they ended your story, but they were simply, unknowingly, turning the page to the most important chapter. And now, as you rise, as you do the work, take the steps, build the life they're left watching from the distance they chose, watching you become everything they never believed you could be. And the extraordinary thing is, once you've truly committed to your own growth, once you've genuinely stepped into the life you were meant to live, you won't even be watching them back. You'll be too busy, too grateful, too alive in the present, to spend energy revisiting the past. This brings us to something I want you to really absorb, because it might be the most quietly powerful shift in perspective you can make. At some point in this journey, you will reach a place, not through denial, not through pretending the pain never happened, but through genuine, hard-earned growth, where you are simply too blessed to care, too blessed to let the opinions of small-minded people consume your energy, too blessed to waste your peace on battles that add nothing to your life, too blessed to explain yourself repeatedly to people who have already decided what they want to believe about you, too blessed to fight for a place in spaces that were never built to hold you. The moment you truly understand how much you have, not necessarily in material terms, but in terms of life, breath, potential, love, possibility, everything shifts. You stop trying to manage the perceptions of people who are paying your bills or contributing to your joy. You stop apologizing for your growth to people who are comfortable with your limitations. You stop giving your finest hours, your clearest thinking, your most precious emotional energy to situations and people that have no return on that investment, because you start to see, with remarkable clarity, that your energy is extraordinarily valuable. Your peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity. And your purpose, whatever that looks like for you, is far too important to be constantly derailed by noise. You were not placed here to be liked by everyone. That is simply not the assignment. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will appreciate what you bring. Not everyone will clap when you win. And frankly, some of the loudest critics will be the very people who once benefited most from your generosity. And that is fine. You do not need their applause. You do not need unanimous approval from people who are themselves still figuring out who they are. You are already enough. You are already more than enough, and the blessings already present in your life, the ones you may have stopped noticing because pain has a way of narrowing your vision, are real, and they are yours. When you shift your focus from everything that is missing to everything that is present, something almost miraculous begins to happen. The noise fades, not because the world has quieted down. It hasn't. It never will. But because your relationship with the noise changes. The criticism that once felt catastrophic begins to feel like weather, unpleasant, perhaps, but not permanent. The opinions of people who don't actually know you begin to carry less and less weight. The drama that once pulled you in with magnetic force begins to feel frankly exhausting, like something you simply don't have the time or interest for anymore. And in its place, you start to notice things you'd been overlooking. The love that was always there. The opportunities sitting quietly in your periphery. The growth happening inside you, slowly but undeniably. Even through the hardest seasons, people will always try to bring you down when they see you rising. That is one of the most reliable and disappointing constants of human nature. Your growth will make some people deeply uncomfortable. Your confidence will unsettle those who are still at war with themselves. Your peace will irritate those who are still choosing chaos. And they will find ways to express that discomfort through criticism, through gossip, through subtle undermining, through the kind of passive hostility that is designed to get a reaction whilst maintaining plausible deniability. But here is what their behavior is actually telling you. Happy people do not spend their time trying to dismantle someone else's happiness. Secure people do not feel threatened by another person's confidence. People who are truly at peace with themselves do not invest energy in disturbing yours. So when someone comes at you like that, take a breath and understand what you are actually looking at. You are not looking at a problem with you. You are looking at a struggle within them, and that is theirs to carry, not yours. Your response to that kind of negativity determines the quality of your inner life. You can engage. You can argue. You can let it pull you down into a fight that will drain you and produce nothing. Or you can choose differently. You can protect your peace like the precious, finite resource. It is, you can redirect your attention back to your own life, your own goals, your own healing, your own growth. Every time you do that, every time you choose your peace over someone else's chaos, you take back a piece of yourself that negativity was trying to steal. There will always be people attempting to pull you into their drama, testing your patience, prodding for a reaction, trying to make their chaos your responsibility. But when you are genuinely focused on building something meaningful, when you have goals that excite you, a healing that is real, a purpose that calls to you louder than any provocation, you simply do you and have the bandwidth for it. Not because you're above it in some arrogant sense, but because you are genuinely too busy living to waste time on something that gives you nothing in return. Not everyone will celebrate you. Not everyone will acknowledge your wins. Some will resent your happiness with an intensity that is almost bewildering. Some will work quietly against you for reasons that have everything to do with their own pain and nothing to do with yours. But you don't need everyone in your corner. You don't need a crowd cheering your name. You need your own belief. You need your own commitment. You need your own steady, unshakable sense of who you are and where you are going. Because when you have that, truly have it, not as a performance but as a living truth, nobody's lack of applause can shake you. The more you focus on your blessings, the more you find to be grateful for. That is not a platitude. That is a genuine shift in perception that changes the entire quality of your experience. Gratitude retrains the eye to look for evidence of abundance rather than lack. And as that becomes your default lens, things begin to change. Better energy finds you. Better people enter your life. Better opportunities become visible, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Because the version of you that is rooted in gratitude, in peace, in genuineness, attracts completely different circumstances than the version of you that was running on bitterness and exhaustion. The storms will not stop coming. Life does not become problem-free as a reward for personal growth. The challenges will continue. People will continue to test you. Difficult seasons will arrive without warning and stay longer than feels fair. But when you have cultivated genuine peace, when you have done the work, let go of what needed releasing, risen from what tried to keep you down, and settled into a quiet but unwavering certainty about your own worth. You navigate those storms differently. They do not take you under. They do not steal your identity. They do not rewrite your story, because you know who you are now, and that knowledge is the most stable ground you will ever stand on. You are not here to shrink. You are not here to dim yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for the full expression of who you are. You are not here to match your vibration to the energy of people who have chosen to live in a lower gear. You are here to thrive. You are here to grow. You are here to receive every good thing that life has been quietly building towards for you, even through the seasons when it felt like nothing was moving in the right direction. So no matter what has been said about you, no matter what has been done to you, no matter how many times you've been knocked down, overlooked, dismissed, hurt, betrayed, or left behind, remember this: you are too blessed to let any of that steal another moment of your joy. Too blessed to hand your peace to people who never deserved it in the first place. Too blessed to stay trapped in a version of your story that ended several chapters ago. The pain was real. The lessons were real. The growth that came from all of it is real. And now, with everything you've endured and everything you've built from the rubble of it, the life ahead of you is more real and more possible than it has ever been. Keep rising. Keep going. And trust, completely, unshakably trust, that the universe has been paying attention to every single moment of your quiet, unseen endurance. Your time is coming, and when it does, nothing from your past will have the power to take it from you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your night. May you find deep peace and restful sleep. Wishing you the sweetest dreams. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.